Hi everyone, welcome back. How's your 2020 going? So far, our year's been going pretty well. What I want to discuss today was every year I try to make a goal list. Yes, I talked about my vision board, but every year I have some goals in mind of what books I want to read for my own personal reading. I try to have a goal of like at least 12 books a year, which is about one a month, which I know many people read much more than that. But you know, it is what it is, and I tried it. Sometimes that's a struggle, honestly, because life and but I just made a list of. You don't have to see this; it's for my own personal. Um, I made a list of 10 books and then I left 11 and 12 blank because inevitably every year I'll make a list and then there'll be several different books I end up wanting to read that year that just come up that I didn't think about or know about the year before. So then I'm ending up, scratching out books and writing in new books or whatever. But I'm going to try to for sure get these 10 read and then leave wiggle room for new books that might spark my interest in 2020. But I have a goal of trying to read 12 a year. How many do you set out a goal each year for how many books you want to get read? I feel like the years that I didn't, well, before my son, I read more than 12 a year. But then I kind of stopped keeping track. I didn't really have to keep track before. And then I kind of stopped keeping track. And I realized, I don't know, when he was around 3, there was one year where I read like one book or something like that. And I, it was a rude awakening to realize I had gone a whole year and only got one book accomplished. So I started to be more intentional, you know, because things get in the way of making time for reading. So I'm being more intentional and setting goals to try to accomplish more personal reading. Let's just jump into what books I plan to read for 2020, and I would love for you to put in the comments what books you are going to read for 2020 or some really good suggestions. I have a mix. I really tend towards nonfiction and like instructional books. I find that's kind of what I lean in towards. Probably because I get a lot of fiction. You know, I that need is met in the read alouds. So when I read aloud to my son, I'm reading things like right now we're in the middle of the Jungle Book, which, by the way, is maybe I should have waited a little bit on that one. There's some things in there that anyway. Um, Same with the Wizard of Oz. I was very shocked by some of the things in the Wizard of Oz this year too. But I read a lot of classic literature and fiction, stuff with my son for read alouds. So then my own personal reading tends to be more instructional. So what I have, the very first book, I'm currently reading Wild and Free. That's not on my list because I only have like one chapter, maybe two left in it, and I'm going to get that finished. That was on my list for last year. And that's going pretty well. But the book that I'm going to hop into as soon as I'm done with Wild and Free is Educated. Okay. I don't know a whole lot about it yet, but I am actually reading this one for a book club that I'm in. And then I'm also planning to finish Home Education by Charlotte Mason. I've already been reading this one, but I plan to get it finished in 2020. And this is one that I've just slowly been working on in a book club as well. Another book I'm going to be hoping to finish in 2020. I already started this one too, but I only got to chapter 3 last year, and then I put it aside to start Wild and Free, just because I needed to get that one read Anyway, and I plan to get back to this one, then I just kind of put it on the back burner. So I'm definitely going to jump back into this one because I've always heard good things about Sally Clarkson. And this is by Sally Clarkson and her daughters. And so I'm going to be reading that this year. Highly recommended Brene Brown. So I've never read any Brene Brown, but everybody's been telling me more about her. So I got The Gifts of Imperfection, which I plan to read this year. So high hopes for that. We'll see how that goes. Another one I'm reading this year I plan to read is Heal Your Body. The mental causes for physical illness and the metaphysical way to overcome them. I don't know. I'm going to go in with, not expecting much, but we'll see if something comes out of it. One for fun, and that's light, just like graphic novel type, just cartoons, but fun. If you've seen, these guys are great. They're anyway, it's fun. Little Moments of Love. Actually, I ended up, I got this for my husband last year for Christmas, and he finished it, and then he kept showing me a few as he was going, and they're just so cute. I want to read it myself as well. The next on my list is one that I purchased, I don't know, maybe a year, 2 years ago even, at a homeschool conference, and I've just, put it on my to read shelf, and I'm just now getting to it, but I do want to read The Busy Homeschool Mom's Guide to Daylight. This is by Heidi St. John. And then one that I've always been, this has been on my to-read list for a while, and I really just want to knock it out this year. I'm kind of embarrassed that I haven't read it yet. But C.S. Lewis, Mere Christianity. I've read other C.S. Lewis, like I've read all of the Chronicles of Narnia. And that one I did do with my son. And I've read Screwtape Letters on my own, and some other, but Mere Christianity I haven't got around to yet, and I'm making a point of doing that this year. And then a weighty one that I'm going to try to get through, you can see, is the Charlotte Mason Companion. So, Personal Reflections on the Gentle Art of Learning. We'll see how that goes. And then another I don't have a physical copy of, but I intend to read Parenting with Love and Logic. I do think I have that on my e-reader, so that is one I plan to read. Yes, there's a lot of physical books. I was just telling a friend the other day that I do tend to gravitate towards physical books over e-books. I mean, I do have a Kindle, and I will read books that way. But it's not my favorite. Like I do gravitate towards physical. And audiobooks, I'm not good with that either. My husband loves that. That's pretty much the only way I think my husband tends to read is audiobooks. Once in a while he'll do physical, but he prefers audiobooks. And then I will get distracted with audiobooks. I won't follow what is happening. I just tend to do better with the physical copies of books. I don't know why. But anyway, so that is my 2020 to-read goal list for the year. And then I had a bonus one on here that I'm not really counting because, yes, it's because it's pretty thick, and I know for a fact I'm not going to finish it this year. But since I just finished, I always have like a book I'm reading for myself, but I also do like something for my own personal, Bible study or time with the Lord. And so I just finished up reading Immerse. Do I have that in here? No, I think I put it in the other room. But anyway, the Immerse Bible Messiah. It was really good. So I would suggest that to anyone. Here, actually, let me show you what it looks like. Okay, I'm back. I ran and grabbed that so you could see. I just finished this one that I had started long ago in a life group. And then they kind of, well, actually, that particular life group fell away. And then I wanted to finish the book on my own, though. So I finally got it finished completely. But anyway, Immerse, the Reading Bible, Messiah. So this is the New Testament, and it's really cool because I like how it's set up, the flow of like reading a regular book as opposed to how the Bible has been really, kind of almost made into a reference type reading. And this just is so much easier to just sit and read like you would a novel. I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, it's hard to explain, but trust me, it was a nice fresh take on regular Bible reading. So I would suggest that one. But anyway, back to what I'm starting next. I know this video is all over the place, and anyway, sorry. Back to what I'm going to be reading this year for my Bible time will be the MacArthur's Bible Handbook, which I've done a little bit in the past, but I wanted to really dive into it this year. So just, it's really to do some, a little bit more in-depth study on each book of the Bible. And it has, I want to really just dive into this. And so I ended more of a light, getting to just read and get the overall sense of it, which was great. But now I'm going to be a little bit more studious in my take for my study this year. I also grabbed the Wild and Free book I was talking about, so you could see, The Call of the Wild and Free. Here, and this is the jacket for it. I always take off the jackets while I'm reading them. But anyway, I'm almost done with that one, and that one's pretty good. Wild and Free is kind of like a homeschooling nature movement, kind of. Anyway, so those are my books that I'm planning to read for 2020. Until next time, I'll try to make a video about what I plan to read with my son this year, although that tends to fluctuate depending on, his interest in things. But sometimes I go in with some ideas in mind. Okay, well, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.